Hey, it's Mariah May. You may know me as The Glamour, and you're watching Unpopular Review.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Review. I am the returning, because I feel like it's been forever on this road to WrestleMania. Executive consultant returning to the Raw show. Of course, joined by the man who's been holding it down for the last month and a half, Evil Dose. Evil Dose, what's up? What's good? How are you tonight?
You know what? I never thought I'd say these words publicly, but I am glad to see you back again.
It's good to be back. I am glad to be back. What's going on, Ty? What's going on, Jonelle? Please make sure that you like, comment, and share this to all your Wrestling Timelines groups. I'm happy to be back. I just got off a plane from Philadelphia from WrestleMania. What a weekend of bullshit I saw.
What? What do you mean bullshit? Are you talking about Vinny didn't like the subs? What's going on here?
This ain't got nothing to do with subs. This ain't got nothing to do with cheesesteaks. This has everything to do with the fact that my tribal chief, your tribal chief, is no longer the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And I think it's absolute nuts. It's absolute bonkers. You got Cody Rhodes coming out here in his little suit and crying for 40 minutes. This is what you want to see? This is your champion.
You know what? No, but the real thing is, he's not the Raw champion. He's the SmackDown champion. Damian Priest should have been pissed. That's disrespecting the Priest.
You know, that's funny. I did mention that Damian Priest is technically the champion of Raw. Cody Rhodes is supposed to be champion of SmackDown. Does that mean he's transitions over to SmackDown? Is he going to do both shows? I don't understand what's going on. I'm a little confused. The disrespect of Damian Priest, but I was happy to see the Rock came out there, the final boss, and even though the segment was entertaining when the Rock was talking, and I'll get back to the whole part of what Cody was doing during his segment in a minute. But even though the Rock was talking, he was entertainment. There was times this segment felt a little awkward to me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was long. It was a little bit self-indulgent on all parts. I get it. They just had a 4-day nonstop epic event after event after event after event. They wanted some downtime, but they wanted to give the 20,000 people who bought tickets to this Raw, sort of to see the All-Stars. They got them pretty much all of the All-Stars they were in some way, shape, or form within that 3 hours. I'm sure there were some dark matches before, maybe even some after that hopefully they had a good time with. But yeah, this was, Triple H talking a little bit too much. Cody certainly talking too much and too slowly. I did find The Rock compelling, but not as compelling as before. But, he does come humbled somewhat. But The Rock doesn't do humble like a regular person does humble. The Rock is just a little bit less Black Adam, as more like, just a regular Shazam. You're muted, my friend.
Yeah, it was clearly the setup of a match down the line with Cody Rhodes and The Rock. I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm interested to see that. I'm happy to see it. I just felt like it took too long to get there when he could have made it a little bit quicker and a little bit simpler. Now, what are you giving him that makes him have to think? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's something that Dusty Rhodes, but just felt flat.
Do you think it's that Rolex watch that they tracked down, the one that Dusty had a pawn, and they found it and they gave it to Cody? Do you think that's the MacGuffin, that's what he gave him? Or does it even matter what he gave him? It might as well be whatever glowed in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. We don't need to know what it is. We just need to know it's very valuable to both of them.
I think you might be right, though. I think that's what it is.
I mean, sometimes it's better off. When we finally found out what Rowan had in this case, it was a toy tarantula, and that was horrendous.
A lot of times the reveal isn't as much as the appeal, so to speak. But the beginning of it was just the tribute to Cody Rhodes, and I was, throwing up a little bit in my mouth between Samantha Irvin, the beautiful Samantha Irvin, having to do the ring announcing again, Triple H announcing Cody Rhodes out to the ring, them having that stupid tribute for 4 or 5 minutes, like
a lot of crying in wrestling. Then the montage, and then his kid going, "Daddy, finish the story. Daddy, finish the story."
Come on, too much, man. Too much. I'm not excited. I know I'm in a minority. I don't care as we don't know. I'm not excited with this current era. We just got in the end of the, everybody's like, what era is this? What era is this? I'll tell you what my opinion is. We went from the pandemic era to the bloodline era. The bloodline era is over, and now we are beginning the Triple H era. And even though I think he puts on an exciting product at times, and we'll talk about the production that I'm seeing and I'm liking later tonight. Cody Rhodes is your champion. He looks the part, he can do the part, but too much crown. Let's stop it. And he's clearly not Roman Reigns. But shout out to him for acknowledging his tribal chief.
Sure. And he's a totally different character than the Roman Reigns. He's corporate Cody. Roman Reigns is braggadocio, and I'm bigger than the brand. And Cody Rhodes is no. I respect the brand, and I'm going to lead the brand. So basically, he's playing the role of Triple H as the corporate officer, whereas Roman was more Triple H as the wrestler. I'm going to give this show a pass just because it is the aftermath of WrestleMania. It was an epilogue, and it was mostly sort of a tribute to the fans. I don't think any of them expected to see, a whole lot of matches and whatever. They wanted to see the All-Stars. And to the crowd's credit, I think they were more invested in hearing, people speaking and saying you deserve it and chanting. And,
it's always been like that for the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that's a Vince thing. I always say one of the things I appreciate about Vince on Raw is that he kept the TV matches, I think, in my opinion, a little bit lighter, as in not as much time given to it. Now, some people like that. Some people don't. I personally like it. I think your longer matches should be on the pay-per-view, on the premium live event. I think Raw should just keep the storyline going and get as many people out there as possible for the people who bought it. Because the 20,000 people there might not have seen their favorite wrestler that they were hoping to see today. But that's a conversation for another time. Go ahead.
The 20,000 people who were there seemed happy the entire night except during one of the matches.
We'll talk about that match in a minute.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I'm surprised they didn't have a few more of the lower card people and a few more NXT people show up just to some fresh bodies, so to speak, to tear down a couple matches. Maybe they did. Maybe they did just off air. Maybe those were the dark matches. I don't know. But I don't think it was a bad show considering what it was supposed to be. I mean, it was mostly to thank the crowd, to thank the city, to sort of tout, it was the biggest WrestleMania by every metric. They told us the numbers. There was like over 145,000 people showed up for 2 nights of WrestleMania. They had over 20,000 tonight at the Link. They had it, or whatever the arena is. They had Wells Fargo. Okay, and they had over 200,000 tickets sold for events over the 5-day period. I mean, that's NFL number stuff. I mean, and this was basically a sales pitch to other cities as much as it was a TV show.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they've done it for years where they boost up the economy for whatever city they're hosting WrestleMania, and now later in these latest years, Royal Rumble and SummerSlam, they added to the mix as well. So, I mean, they're doing a good job. And like I said, believe it or not, their next PLE is not until in America is not until August, and that's something.
But they've got 2 between that. You've got Backlash in France in a month, and then you have Saudi Arabia, I think less than a month after that.
And then you also have Money in the Bank, which is in Canada.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, and listen, the non-domestic crowds have been killing it, and I'm including Puerto Rico in that, despite it being the United States. So, I mean, they're killing it. Us here in the United States, not so much. Not always, not consistently. And why not? But you're making a global brand. It's been part of a corporate strategy. And, not everything Vince did was bad. Not everything he did was good, for sure. And I'm not talking about his personal life. I'm talking about professionally. And Triple H he learned under the tree of Vince for 20 years. And he has some of his own qualities. But I've always said he has some of the best and some of the worst qualities of both Tony Khan and Vince, and he's got some things that are his own. And he always sort of likes to congratulate himself. I think he sort of likes being the humble brag now. The getting the adulation. It's so anyway. But I agree. Cody Rhodes droned on way too much. He cries way too much. He did say there was one line I liked. He said, "I'm the champion, and I'm used to being in line, but now the line forms behind me," and that was good. And then we got The Rock. Now, I'm never going to be disappointed to see The Rock, or I can't imagine a time when I will be. But he wasn't the first one that I wanted to see, but he was the first one I expected to see.
Looking forward to that matchup. Hopefully happening around SummerSlam, maybe next year's WrestleMania. He says he's going to go away for a while, but when he comes back, Champion Night is looking for him. I don't expect to see Cody Rhodes holding on to that championship for a year. I think maybe less than 6 months.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to have more troubles. I mean, they've had a lot of long-time champions. I think it's some hot potato time is in order for it to change things up. But
I'll say that especially because if he's going to be doing Raw and SmackDown, I saw his dates of appearances. He is going to be doing Raw and SmackDown for the next couple of months. If that's the case, then
The Rock said, I have to go away for a while. Do you know where he's going? I mean, I assume it's a movie and it's not just the UFL, but like, do we know where he's going? Because I didn't know he had to go away for a while.
Yeah, he has to go shoot a movie. I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, he's got tons of movies lined up. I know he's got 2 more of those Burn Notices or Red Notice movies on Netflix, and I'm sure he's got a host of other things too. But all right, the Rock interrupted. They did the whole, talking about their belts, trading the belts. Rock never held that belt. Don't make fun of the belt Muhammad Ali's widow gave me. You finished your story. Your dad's looking at you from heaven. I'm not so sure that my father is, but you know what? I don't care, which was a pretty good heel line.
Best line Rock said was, largest gathering of trailer park trash. I mean, I know it's an oldie but goodie, but it really works for that there. But I mean, Rock segment was too long. 40 minutes into the very first match, which we're going to talk about right now. Io Dragunov, the NXT champion.
I want to say one thing. Philly was a little bit too excited about breaking the trailer park trash record.
Well, I mean, I just came from Philly. Philly is my home city, but I can't say it. Well, maybe he was wrong. I can't say he was wrong. Debuting Io Dragunov versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is a hard-hitting match, just the way these two like it. But Dragunov picks up the victory. Shinsuke Nakamura, you really used lately to boost over younger talent. Shinsuke is pushing. I mean, he's in his mid-40s. I can understand why. Do you see Dragunov as a possible talent as they announced the draft coming up at the end of the month? It looks like NXT is going to be more involved than usual since they got Ava Raine back there, but we'll talk about that later. But do you see Io Dragunov doing some amazing things on the main roster?
Yeah, I mean, I actually predicted Tony D'Angelo to win the title because I thought that Ilya was going to be called up. And, I know that it's a false choice. Kevin Owens was called up with the NXT championship, and that's been done before. But yeah, I think that Ilya is going to lose that title to Trick Williams, as he probably should, and he probably will be called. So probably, and the draft is in 3 weeks. We got the draft April 26th and 29th between Raw and SmackDown, or SmackDown and Raw rather. But yeah, Nakamura has taken over Dolph Ziggler's role. Is that he is the gatekeeper for new talent to make them look good, much like The Miz was and will be again once this story's over, much like Baron Corbin has been, although he's killing it now in NXT. And on the women's side, Natty and probably Candice LeRae, to an extent as well. They're sort of your player coaches, your in-ring trainers, and Nakamura did the job. And I know there's still people out there who think that Nakamura is one more run and all that. Nah.
Can't say I disagree with you there. And to answer your WrestleMania 41 question, they did announce it. Rumors are Minneapolis, Minnesota. Vegas is probably still in the running there. We'll see how it goes. Next thing we'll talk about is the Judgment Day coming out. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley celebrating their World Championship victories. And let me tell you something. This is another reason why I wasn't too happy with the Royal Rumble. As we all know, I'm not the biggest Damian Priest fan. And I just don't believe he's a world champion, in my opinion. I don't believe you have a group of 5 and your popularity is number 4 in that group, you should be a world champion. But here we are. They cashed it in for the world championship at WrestleMania. He comes out in his spiffy new red suit and spiffy new music for the 5th time.
Yeah.
And still not hitting to me. I am happy for him. The fans, of course, because they were in the Raw After WrestleMania crowd, gave him the "You Deserve It" chant. The question is, next week when they're in Canada, will he get a positive reaction? Evil Dose.
I don't know if he'll get a positive reaction or not. I don't think it matters. I mean, he's a heel, so he doesn't need to get a positive reaction. He just needs to get a reaction, which is I don't know the answer to that either. Without Dom and without Mommy, I'm not sure. And if they're separated, I mean, she gets cheered, but. This is fine, and I'm okay with him being the champion. I like Damian Priest. He has a Ring of Honor history, which has a Philadelphia history. But I like what happened mostly because if you listen to Hammer Like Hangover, and I know that you do, this is exactly how I booked the cash-in, right down to Punk hitting Mcyintyre over the head with his brace. So it was exactly the way that I envisioned it. So it was great. Yeah, he will be a transitional champion. And I love it that you're going to have the Drew's going to have to do some more chasing, and everyone is convinced that he hasn't re-signed. He has re-signed, and he's going to keep doing this thing. And Punk is his main foil, but he's going to keep on trying to get to Damian, and Damian's going to have other things in his way. And it's fun. They're creating chaos at the top of the card, which is good. It's organized chaos, and it's not like 12 people around it. It's like 4 or 5, and I think those are good stories. We have yet to see what's going to circle around Cody beyond The Rock, but I know that on SmackDown, I don't know, but I think on SmackDown, we're going to start to see something about, Solo being upset about what happened, and maybe the start of a new bloodline being advertised as a reconstituted and reinforced bloodline. We know that Tama Tonga was signed. We heard that Jacob Fatu was telling people that he was signed last Wednesday, which if he has been telling people and ruined the surprise, shame on him. But since he wasn't on WrestleMania, what do you do? Anyway, it's all rumor, and the Observer reported it, so now I'm even less convinced that it's true. Still muted.
This Judgment Day promo led to R-Truth coming out there with his tag team title to raise it, to celebrate the fact that these tag team titles are still within the Judgment Day. Miz came out, said, hey, don't want to be in the Judgment Day. A challenge was made for the tag team titles. R-Truth countered with a 6-man tag with the man you can't see. Immediately, one of my roommates was saying, oh, this is John Cena. I didn't think they were going to have John Cena came out. I actually thought this is Braun Strowman returning. Lo and behold, here comes John Cena. Quick, easy, fun match also for him to say he wrestled yet another year, where pretty much all they did was the little shoulder tackles, the 5-knuckle shuffle, and FUs, which makes everybody happy. Let's just be real. And that's what it was. That's what it did. And a very good job done by WWE, John Cena, Awesome Truth, and the Judgment Day in this segment. Evil, those your thoughts?
Exactly the same. I mean, the only purpose that it served was to sort of show that Finn, JD McDonough and Dom are sort of the weak links. Rhea is still not exactly thrilled with Dom and his lack of communication and trying to recruit Andrade and taking care of non-Judgment Day business and not even taking care of it at that. And she says to him later on that John Cena is not our problem. Andrade is our problem. And Dom is like, well, I'll go talk to Priest. And I don't want to, that's a couple segments later. But yeah, this was a fan service match. This was a house show match. Not as good as the house show match we got on night 1 of WrestleMania, which was the She Avengers versus the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai, who was, of course, there to take the pin. But
agreed, Mr. Shipley. It was sweet. It was a feel-good segment, and let's keep it rolling here on this commercial-free episode of Raw Review Raw. That's right, commercial-free. Ain't playing no commercials. We're rapidly doing this. Why? because I'm
You
beat.
don't feel good.
No, I'm beat, ladies and gentlemen. 2 nights of WrestleMania. Now, let's continue this transition because Rhea Ripley said exactly what you were saying backstage about how she's not happy with Dom. Dom needs to take care of this. Dom said he needs to go talk to Pierce. Lo and behold, a chair goes right across the face of Rhea Ripley, courtesy of Liv Morgan, who I always suspected was going to be the next challenger, because somebody said, hey, who is Rhea Ripley going to lose to now that she beat Becky Lynch? Who's left? I said, well, if you go by her story is actually Liv Morgan, who's been a little bit more interesting. Let's see where it goes. Chair to the face, attack. Dom came to check on his mommy, and then excellent camera transition with Dom pushing the camera and the camera walking all the way out to the ring to see in the ring one Indy Hartwell with Candice LeRae. Facing your NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. More problems ensued as Candice LeRae and Indy can't seem to get along, leaving Roxanne to get the pin. Roxanne, who's also eligible for the draft, of course, coming up later this month.
Time out 1 second. Look at the views. Am I seeing this right, or are my eyes like going to, do we have 139 people watching?
Currently, yes, we have 139 people watching.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for watching us. Please make sure you like, love, and share. Definitely share this if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, any of them. Go ahead and share this and follow us at all our social media. But decent match. Roxanne Perez picks up the victory. Next thing we're going to talk about is Sami Zayn coming out there.
Aggressive Roxanne Perez, but the crowd was aggressively disinterested in this match.
You think it was this match they were disinterested in?
Oh my God, yeah. I heard David's picking his nose. No, I know David wasn't there. I know he was. I knew he flew back already. It was someone else picking their nose. I heard.
I mean, there were a lot of people. 60 states or 50 states, I should say, and 64 countries.
64 countries were represented.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just want to know, was Moldova one of them?
Bottom line is the match was done. Perez, I think, has a very good storyline right now. I can't say I think she's ready to be called up.
She's so small.
She is extremely small. Sami Zayn comes out to celebrate his Intercontinental Championship victory. He wants to thank a few people. When he gets to Chad Gable, Imperium comes out minus Gunther and says that, I can't believe you have the Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable comes out to get the save because, of course, they're going to attack Sami. Tag team match happens. Decent tag team match between Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. And, of course, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable are going to face each other for the Intercontinental Championship next week on Monday Night Raw. Your thoughts when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship, this match and next week's match?
Well, we all knew that something was going to happen. One, it was going to be Gable turns on Sami Zayn and turns heel. Two, it would have been the gentleman's agreement, face versus face. But I still think Gable's not going to be happy because in your hometown, Sami, really, you consider that a fair shot? But yeah, this was the 50-50 chance. Frankly, this was more the 67-33 chance because Gable is such a face, and they've really worked to get Alpha Academy over and Maxine Dupree. So turning them heel, while I don't think it's not going to happen, I think it'll be a slow simmer. And, you know, this is not prescience. Pretty much everyone on earth called this one.
Do you think that Sami Zayn is walking out the Intercontinental Champion next week?
Yes, I do. But I'm not sure he walks out the Intercontinental Champion, let's just say, whether it's, at Backlash. I'm not sure about that. I think the Gable and him maybe traded back and forth a little bit. I think they're still trying to figure out, do they want Gunther to monster up onto Cody, or is that too soon for Cody to have this kind of real monster challenge?
I thought Gunther was freed up to face Cody, and he clearly that's going to be the plan eventually, but I'm not sure it's wise to have Gunther go after and lose immediately because I don't see Cody losing to Gunther immediately. So that's a good point.
I think there's a couple pretty obvious choices. I mean, Logan Paul, going after Cody's title and not putting up the U.S. title is the easy out, and certainly seems like it would be the Saudi Arabia, easy match. But there's other things that they can do.
Well, his contender should be on SmackDown, right? Because as we mentioned earlier, the SmackDown World Title.
Right. Well, Logan Paul is SmackDown champion. He's a U.S. champion. So
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, who's the WWE champion now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call it the right title. It's been the WWE championship for pretty much a year now, over a year, really. But they call it the Undisputed Universal Champion. One, because that's what Roman was, the Undisputed Champion. And in order to continue the streak, they had to call it the Universal Championship. But it is the WWE Championship now. WWE Championship and World Championship. That title, in my opinion, prestige goes down a little bit. Not just because it's Cody, no disrespect to Cody, but because Roman held that title with such purpose. No matter who was going to be champion, it was going to drop down a peg or two.
Listen, people are going to turn on Cody because at some point he is Cody. But 40, not even 24 hours later, Chris, it's a little bit early for you to be turning on him. Now, I know that you never turned on him because you were always for the other side. I get it. I understand why. And listen, Ric Flair lost the title plenty of times, but the Horsemen often reconstituted and came back, and Ric Flair won that title. What is it, 297 different times? So, this doesn't have to be the last hurrah.
We'll see about that, and the tribal chief returns. In the back, Chelsea Green is talking to a very proud of themselves general manager, middle management team. He's got
those Hollywood abs going. He's got those Hollywood abs.
Exactly my point. You'll appreciate this. When I was watching the main event for WrestleMania Night 1, there was a shot where they showed Cody and Seth, and then they showed Rock and Roman.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Then they showed Cody and Seth, and then they showed Rock and Roman. And I said, you got to be freaking kidding me. You got two people who look like they're chiseled, and then you have Cody and Seth. And that's not disrespecting any Cody and Seth's physical condition, especially Cody. Cody is in very good shape. But he don't look like no Roman Reigns out there.
No, he's in very good shape for a guy who's a little bit taller than average. He's in very good shape for a tennis pro.
Chelsea Green doing her Karen impersonation again, right?
Right.
And
interrupting all three GMs who are letting you know that all three brands are in play for the draft.
It's going to be a long 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They said they have somebody to face Chelsea Green. This person is none other than a storm is coming, Jade Cargill, who makes quick work of Chelsea Green. Now, here's a debate Mike Knox and I were having. Jade Cargill, how does she look to you on Saturday?
Her pump kick, she keeps impacting too low. I don't know if that's on purpose, because if she gets it too high, she doesn't have control over it, or if the timing is still off. But in everything else, I think she looked fine. Is she Bianca? No, Bianca generaled that match. But did she look like she belonged? Absolutely. Does her physical presence itself, overcome the fact that she is, from WWE standards, probably a mediocre to slightly below mediocre wrestler? In my opinion, it does. So, and she'll only get better, but I think she looked great. I felt bad for Naomi. First of all, they all had shortened entrances, but Naomi's is so long with her spelling her goddamn name that she got caught up, which is stupid. Don't spell your name. Go back to the glow thing. People pop for that. The other is they're all flexing. And Naomi is in perfectly wonderful shape. But Bianca and Jade are specimens. It's like Hawk and Animal. I mean, it's like the Steiner brothers.
Do you see that 6-pack on Bianca Belair?
Yeah. Oh my God, Bianca is. I mean, she's getting Jadified, and Jade's already Jadified. I mean, they're both superheroes. They're absolutely both superheroes, and I just felt bad for Naomi posing with them, because it's kind of like Lashley, Montez Ford, and poor Dawkins. It's like Dawkins just in the back here. You guys look good. I'll just watch the coats.
Jade Cargill picks up the victory over Chelsea Green. Like I said, quick work action there. Next thing we're going to talk about was the apparently they did some Uncle Howdy references. Did you catch it?
I heard that, and I saw that people were throwing around on Twitter, and that's eerie, and I love it, and I think that would be a great new evil faction. Frankly, it should be on Raw, because they need as much help as they can get in a 3-hour show. and I'm all for it. They did say that it would be returning when the sun leaves the sky. So people were talking about the eclipse, but I think it was the end of the Bray documentary, I think they showed something where it said 6/24 or 8/24. So they might be dragging this out, for a few months, but time goes quickly. And I'm excited to see if they have been, there's been a lot of people who haven't been doing anything. And, it's one thing to keep a bench, but it's one thing to have people not shown for anything. And I'm pretty sure that Eric Rowan's been under contract for a while. They just show him too much. I'm pretty sure that Dexter Loomis is not banished because he's done anything wrong. Nikki Cross, she's been having. So I think they're going to sort of bring back a Wyatt.
I forgot Nikki Cross is still in the company.
Yeah, she is. She was at one of the events where she was comparing gowns with I think Mcyintyre. Anyway, Alexa Bliss is due back. I mean, but maybe she doesn't want to wrestle anymore. A fairly new mother. I don't know. I'm all for it. But Loomis and Rowan and someone like a Joe Gacy who's 37 years old and probably is never going to be a big star in NXT or WWE, but Huskus the Pig, why not?
See what he does once he gets back to the main roster. Last thing we'll talk about is the main event segment of Monday Night Raw, and that was
you're not talking about the Sheamus vignette on.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. I'm excited about Sheamus. I've been wondering where Sheamus has been. He has not been on WWE TV since he lost to Edge in Edge's final WWE match.
Yeah, so I guess Patrick McShillelagh is not all elite.
I don't know why people even thought Sheamus was going to AEW. I didn't.
Because Edge did. Yeah.
Edge wouldn't surprise me, so I guess But I just didn't see Sheamus.
I don't know why AEW fans want people that they hate to come to them. I mean, I understand the Finn Balor and the AJ Styles. I mean, those are wrestlers who, by the way, are perfectly happy in WWE, if not thrilled. But those are wrestlers that they'd like to see there. I mean, the problem they don't realize is they have 300 wrestlers, which is about 215 too many. But anyway, but Sheamus, I mean, Drew McIntyre, what the hell are they going to do? Are they going to be like all the other big guys and lose to Action Andretti and the Top Flight and the Commander? Well, come on now.
Yeah, I just don't see Drew McIntyre going to AEW to face Commander.
Right. I mean, I used to joke about this, and it'll probably never ever happen, especially now. But I just like one in my imagination, seeing Hangman Adam Page sort of front up on someone like Brock Lesnar, and seeing Brock Lesnar not sell for Adam Page would be like maybe the funniest thing I'd ever see.
Well, stranger things has happened. As we all know, Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns after starting at AEW. When I started.
Come on. Last year was Infinity War. This year was Endgame.
Fatal 4-way match between Ricochet, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, and Big Bronson Reed. This match was actually pretty good, pretty hard hitting. Drew McIntyre started the match off at first with an interview talking about how pissed off he was at the outcome last night, and that he was going to have some words with Priest about it. So I was looking forward to that. But he took the L in this match, and Jey Uso, which makes sense. And I think I'm excited to see a Jey Uso versus Judgment Day promo because of the mommy situation. Not to expect Jey to win, which is sad because I think Jey, before he goes back with the Usos, should win a singles championship. Not necessarily the world title, but should win the singles championship.
Nah. If that Uso versus Uso match taught us anything, it's that however much the people like to pounce, that's it. That's the end of Jey Uso. He's a one-trick pony. Those boys need to get back together again.
I can't say he's a one-trick pony, but I also can't disagree with you on their match at WrestleMania. As I've told many people, I thought their match was very disappointing.
I mean, I think everyone is calling it the worst match of the weekend, and I'm including in that Stand and Deliver. Though, of course, I thought Stand and Deliver was an A++++++ show.
Might need you due to a couple NXT episodes coming up soon.
Well, I mean, originally that's why it came back to UPR, and immediately got shuffled around like 3-card Monte.
Yeah. Bad guy Jack's taking some time off, so yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all right. I am happy to do NXT. All right. It depends what. Listen, we don't need to do this on the air.
No, we're not going to do this. I just give you the heads up. It's probably not going to be till May or June. But that being said, I can't tell you what was the worst match. I can tell you the best match. Oh, Jey Uso ones. We talked about it. Yeah. CM Punk came out, interfered, which I shouldn't known CM Punk was there, but they made it look like he wasn't there. So good job to them as they try to continue this feud with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. And CM Punk now costing Drew McIntyre a chance. First the World Championship period, and then a chance to try to get it back.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I'm really excited about the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud, which I'm surprised because when CM Punk first came back, everybody was talking CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and now Seth Rollins got taking a back seat. Also, as I heard Seth Rollins, but I know Seth Rollins is taking some time off.
Yeah, I heard about a month.
About a month at least, and I think that's good for him. I think he deserves it, and I think he needed to take that time off.
Now, Seth, hear me out.
Here we go.
I suggested you should take a Jovian month off. Okay, so just Google it and do the translation, and that'll be fine. The only thing I didn't really like about this result is that they've been pushing Ricochet real hard, which I guess is okay because they don't want him to lose. But we've already seen Ricochet and Bronson Reed have matches, and I'm not so sure that I'm invested in seeing them face each other again. Now, if they become
wrestling each other on Wednesday is Speed.
Yeah, well, I know it. I'm sort of sick of pairing them together. I get the contrast in styles, but I've seen it already. But the only thing I'm taking from this is, there's two things. One, that Braun Strowman is further out from coming back, and they want to see if Ricochet and Bronson Reed might be an interesting tag team together. Or two, Bronson Reed, through some sort of cheating or gimmicked injury or whatever, is going to be savage on Ricochet, and he'll be rescued by the returning Braun Strowman.
I think this leads to Braun Strowman's return.
Okay, I'm all for it. Listen, you and me are among the Braun Strowman fans, and you know what? There's more of us than people like to let on. I was at Ring of Honor Final Battle. I mean, the actual Ring of Honor promotion, Sinclair, it's Final Battle. And EC3 and part of CYN was there, and he said, release the Kraken, and Braun Strowman came out easily by 5 times, got the biggest and most sustained pop of anyone there. The next closest was Danhausen, and after that were the Briscoe brothers. Braun Strowman, loved by even the Ring of Honor crowd in Be More.
I can't say I disagree with you. Looking forward to Braun Strowman's return. Are you looking forward to Jey Uso versus... Well, you said, I guess not, because you just didn't get the worst match of the night, and he needs to go back to the Usos. So if you're not looking forward to Jey versus Damian Priest.
I mean, listen, it's fine. I'm sure that they'll work, and the whole thing with his back is bothering him, and probably other types of unfinished business, or Drew is Drew might become to Jey Uso what CM Punk has been to Drew, and Drew beat Jey Uso 3 times on his road to the number 1 contender, plus the Elimination Chamber match. So no, it's fine. It's a good challenger for Damian Priest. It's a win for him. He's not going to be the champion for 1 month. So he'll probably be the champion for at least 2 months. So even if it's a transitional title run, it's not like The Miz, who had the belt for 2 weeks before losing it, rightfully, to my bromance, Bobby Lashley. But absent that, it's fine, because nobody should be winning those titles anytime soon unless it was Drew McIntyre getting at Damian Priest right now, or somehow CM Punk being magically cleared and getting that title before Drew McIntyre. I mean, technically, Drew McIntyre is now a 3-time champion, just like Bianca Belair is a 3-time champion, but they both got cashed in on and held the title for a few minutes. But Drew walked into it.
Drew mentioned it happened to him twice. This is the second time.
Yeah, but he walked into it. I mean, he was flocking. He was flocking out there, Chris. He was asking for it. He basically said, Jeff, I heard your booking. It's brilliant, so I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be a doofus.
It does it so well. Rate this episode of Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania.
I don't know. I mean, if this was a regular TV show, wrestling show, not the night after WrestleMania, it probably would give it a D. Because it is the show after WrestleMania and it has a different purpose. I'll go C minus, which probably doesn't sound like it's much better, but I don't really think it was that good of a TV show.
I give it a B. I thought it was actually pretty good. I'm not sure what's wrong with you. It would have got an A, but I was really hoping to see Brock Lesnar, and I did not. So, and Braun Strowman. So,
a whole lot of empty calories in this show.
It wasn't bad, though. I will give it a solid B, and I think it deserved it. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with SmackDown. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the world titles, both of the world titles going forward, how they're going to be used. The draft's coming up. That should be exciting. We also have Backlash coming up. Only one match right now. Looks like we know where we're getting, which is going to be Jey Uso versus what's his face? Damian Priest.
The bondage Undertaker.
That is what Drew McIntyre called him.
Yes, he did.
Trying to be nice about it, but
he did. Well, it's better than what the internet was calling him.
It is definitely better.
Yeah, but it was in the same vein. So anyway, listen, Damian Priest sort of had. I mean, listen, dressing like Demolition in 2024 is a choice.
Very good episode of Raw, in my opinion. Looking forward to seeing what comes up with the Triple H era. So far, it's off to a somewhat decent start. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of WrestleMania. Night 1, I thought, was just not WrestleMania enough to me. WrestleMania Night 2 was a lot better in that retrospect. But since I'm not going to do any shows, as far as WrestleMania, I will tell you my favorite match of the weekend is either the United States Triple Threat match or the Intercontinental Championship match.
I think those are two really good choices. They were probably, as far as wrestling matches, they were probably the wrestling matches of both respective nights. I thought that Bayley and Io Sky was really good.
They had a good match, in my opinion, yes.
And people were shitting on Becky and Rhea. I just don't see it. I thought
that match was also a very good match. I think the crowd took a little bit out of it because Becky was, for the first time ever, really in a while, was really booed heavily. Even when she was a heel, she wasn't booed that heavily. But people love Rhea Ripley.
Mommy is
I thought the match was good. I mean, if you want to compare it to her match with Charlotte, no.
No. But I mean, this whole all was for. I mean, Becky's going to take time off. She had her book written all over her outfit, and she said she has a New York Times bestseller book somehow.
Yeah. She could take a break. She could take a break as long as Steph's taking a break.
Exactly right, and hers can be a Jovian month as well. So yeah, but I thought, but when we look back at Rhea Ripley's reign, I think it's going to be important for the history books that at WrestleMania 39 she beat Charlotte Flair, at WrestleMania 40 she beat Becky Lynch. I mean, these are some of the biggest stars in the history of women's wrestling to present.
Well, let me ask you this before we sign off. Who do you think can defeat Rhea Ripley for that world championship?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends who's, when you shake up people for the draft. I mean, Bianca and Ripley is probably, sort of a modern Rock Stone Cold type of rivalry potential. Jade, just on presence. I love Tiffany Stratton. There's some women at NXT, which I think are terrific. I think in the near term, they're probably going to give, obviously Liv's going to have a little shot at it. They'll probably give Shayna Baszler, another title shot, which will go nowhere. But she made mention of it during the Slam, not the Slam, it's the Hall of Fame. I don't know. They have to look at the roster and who ends up on the, someone like a Blair Underwood is Blair Davenport is someone they could put on. Blair Underwood would be fantastic on that, but Blair Davenport, that would be a lot of fun. JC Jane, there are people. There are people out there, and I don't think that she's in this mix, but Carmella can come back, Sonya Deville can come back,
Alexa Bliss.
I mean, there's people out there, but I don't think that Rhea needs to lose the belt for any time in the near future. I'd be perfectly fine if she goes into next year's WrestleMania still as the champion, and maybe beyond. I think maybe it's time we started keeping, women's records that were, similar to these historic men's records.
No, Tony Khan, let's not do that.
All right. Tony Khan.
It's gonna be hard to break a world title record for the women's because
Fabulous was like 58 years. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Modern era.
I'll give you a Bruno Sammartino, and then I'll raise you a Fabulous Moolah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the 21st.
Well, the modern era, she's close, right? Because I think the modern era, the longest reigning world champion is Bianca Belair. She won it last year.
Did she beat Nikki Bella's record?
Yeah, she beat Nikki Bella's record. She was champion for like 420 days.
Oh, I'm so sad. My
legend. She has the record, but Rhea is fast approaching it.
Oh my God! You can look, but you can't touch. All right, very good. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm want to see. Hopefully, SmackDown is more of a wrestling show after another 3 or 4 days with rest and recouping and
WrestleMania fatigue should end at WrestleMania should end pretty much on Mondays. That fatigue might still be there. We will see. But I do like your idea for the next challenger for Cody.
Cool. All right. Well, very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this commercial-free rapid-fire episode of Raw Review brought to you today. Evil Dose Executive Consultant. Please make sure that you are watching us on our social medias, especially on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube now, we thank you. As you can see, we have something for everyone. Mike Knox Show every single Monday at 6 o'clock. Monday Night Raw Review with myself and Evil Dose immediately after Monday Night Raw. NXT Review immediately after NXT with Bad Guy Jack and the Wrestling Doll. AEW Dynamite Review with Vincent and Dan the Man. And SmackDown on Saturdays with Vic and Dice and AEW Collision, normally with Sheriff as well as Captain Shay Sawyer. And that's all on our YouTube, UPRW. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching us on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching us on Twitter. Evil Dose, you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Stay with my friends.
That was a lot.
Yeah, well, I can tell you they can follow me at Icarus Fell MD on X. You can watch me tomorrow on Toonie Wrestling. I'm part of the Toonie Town Wrestling Roundtable. Marvin the Movie Monster. It's awesome. It's terrific. It's from Wrestling Superstar last week. We're having Triple H's Thoughts as our guest tomorrow night. Obviously, check out Garden of Doom. There's the logo right behind it. Garden of Doom. Garden of Views is there. And so is the Litman on UFL, which, by the way, is on Popular Review Sports. We did episode 5, which is covering week 2 tonight. So it's up there on Unpopular Review Sports. Maybe give that a like and a subscribe. And subscribe to Unpopular Review Sports. It's sort of the redheaded stepchild of Unpopular Review. And maybe it's a little bit early, but on Unpopular Review Entertainment, myself and C the Superior will be doing a once-a-month show. I think we've agreed on Saturday, the final Saturday of every month. So the first one will be April 27th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's called the Garden of the Superior. So obviously it is a spin-off of Garden of Doom of sorts, but C dictates what the topic is, gives me an assignment, and I will research it, and then we shall discuss it. And I'm just on too many. I'm on the paranormal or guys when they're blowing up. They're on like 7 radio stations, etc. So when you ask me, what am I doing? It's more like, what am I not doing? The real question is, why do you have so many unpaying jobs?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here at UPR for Evil Dose. I'm the Executive Consultant. We will see you right here next time on Unpopular Review. Good night, everybody.